Hello and welcome, Prema Gurreri, and I am really excited to be with you and to share with you somebody who's just really near and dear to my heart today, and I know she'll be near and dear to your heart too as well. And we're here to help you to access and understand and play with your sacred wealth code through your sacred wealth code archetypes. And as you probably know by now, this amazing oracle deck is here. It's available. There's still some left. Get your hands on it soon. But I want to bring to you Tanya Stewart. And Tanya is an alpha life success coach. She's a dear friend. She's actually one of the coaches that that I'm graced with, that works with me in my programs and helps my clients. And I'm just so thrilled that she's here with us today. So come on, Tanya.
Hello, everybody. And first, I'm super excited to be here. I'll have to, I go with the flow. So someone out here needs to hear this. I actually visualized working with Prema before that happened. So when I started coaching with her, I just realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I love her. Like she's amazing. And I thought, wouldn't I be making such progress if like she asked me to coach with her? So when that happened, I was like a kid jumping up and down on a bed. So what she teaches you will really grow you. I just had to throw that out, start with that. So.
Thank you. And you have because that's really what you're in the business of is growing, stretching people so that they really realize how much is possible for them and what they can create for themselves. So we are going to talk about the Honorable Warrior today and much more. But the Honorable Warrior is a really powerful and sometimes misunderstood energy as far as the archetypes go and as far as your sacred wealth code goes. In fact, I've had people take my sacred wealth code quiz and write me and go, I got the Honorable Warrior now, and that doesn't make sense to me. And then when I asked them, did you actually read the Honorable Warrior? Because you get this lovely PDF. And you have to understand that the Honorable Warrior takes its direction from the divine. And it really does need to, I want to say, you could say fight a good fight, but a better way to say that is take a good stand, and is really accessing the best of the Honorable Warrior when the Honorable Warrior takes a stand for what it believes in and takes its direction directly from the divine. So it's not about just being a warrior and fighting for something. No, it's taking a stand for what you believe in, or for those who need you to take a stand for them. It's courage, it's valor, it's ambition. It's very directive, and the Honorable Warrior really likes camaraderie as well. So Tanya has an Honorable Warrior in her sacred wealth code, and we all have an Honorable Warrior in us somewhere. So because we have all the archetypes within us somewhere. And so Tanya, I'd love for you to share with us, first of all, what is your favorite aspect about your Honorable Warrior? Because everybody's Honorable Warrior too is going to show up unique to them in particular. But what's your favorite thing you just love about your Honorable Warrior?
Oh, my favorite thing I love about my Honorable Warrior is she will never fail me. Like it will not happen. It doesn't matter what situation I'm in. I pull that out. I know what I'm going to get, and I'm good, and she will protect me and she will protect others. And that is rock solid.
That's awesome. So what I'd also love to know is, when we were first starting to work together, what was it that you can now see that you were struggling with or challenged with that the Honorable Warrior in particular, really helped you to overcome?
Well, and I'm gonna ask your permission to answer this question a little differently.
You can.
Because I want to share something with you. I don't know that I've shared it with you, but I realized it when you said, hey, I want to talk to you about the Honorable Warrior. I realized that with your help and with all the tools you've given me, I have gone through a profound metamorphosis from being very one-dimensional in my archetype. So I was really very much the honorable spiritual warrior, and that was it. Like, that was all I could access. I didn't know that there was other stuff. So that was what I had. So it's that thing where when you have a hammer, everything's a nail. So I'm running around and I was just like, well, let's see, how should I approach this problem? Like this. And how should I do this? Like that. And what do I think about this? I think that. And then how about this? I think that. And thinking about getting married or dating, this. So it was like is a very powerful song, but I didn't even realize that I was a one note song, and that put me out of balance. And so the biggest thing that's to explain that the biggest thing that I didn't realize, so if you'd have asked me then, was I struggling? I'm an alpha, and I wouldn't have even identified with the word struggle. I'd be like, oh, I'm fine. But the thing that I was missing was the balance. And it's funny because it's the thing that I teach my women. I go in and I help them to blossom their feminine side, which, gee, where'd I get that, Prema? So, it's a huge thing for me to learn that I have a leader and I have an administrator. And it is only really with our recent work that I've actually shifted command of my life from my honorable warrior to my leader. Now my leader is actually, I know this sounds silly, is in charge of leading, because they never had anything to do before. Like, they were just sitting around painting nails. And then my administrator, I discovered, is a super badass leader. Like, I had no conception. When you read, you have to really get in here and like read even the little book or in the full-size book. It'll tell you that the administrator is a leader. And I don't think it clicked for me until I actually started embodying it. And then I was like, oh my gosh, she's completely competent to lead all by herself. So I hope that helps you understand where I went. Like, it was a huge difference in my life to be able to have more facets. Like, I can rotate. So now it's like, I'm not just wearing the honorable warrior. Like, it was a shoe that I think I'd almost worn out.
Totally get that. And just for all of you listening in, we all tend to do what we're good at, or what we think we're good at, or what we're told we're good at, but our divine gifts are multifaceted. And then there's the ones that are uniquely in your sacred wealth code. And then there's all your divine gifts, which you have many different ways to express yourself. And just as a primarily feminine being, and I know there's men in my community and men watching this as well, you have a feminine side too. That feminine part of us is life and really likes multi-dimensional expression and embodiment and full expression. And really, that's part of what embodiment is actually expressing through this amazing apparatus of us. And, your archetypes really help you to do that. And all the archetypes help you to do that. For instance, as Tanya was saying, like, kind of that, everything is a nail, and she was using the hammer all the time. And one of the things that the archetypes do so well for you as you start to get more intimate with them, and that's why I love the cards too, I have to say, because they're visual and they're tactile and you can touch them, and there's an embodiment that can happen. We all learn in different ways. So that's why I think the cards are super, super useful. But you will start to understand again that there are other aspects of you. There's other aspects that you may or may not be aware of. One of the ways that also I suggest in using the archetypes in general, whether you're using the cards or through the book, or just because you know all the archetypes or you know what your sacred wealth code is to call on an energy when you need it. And I tell you what, if you need some strong energy, if you know that you're possibly going into a confrontation or a challenging situation, you want to call on the Honorable Warrior. But again, not to fight against, but to stand up for. And there's there is a righteous quality to the Honorable Warrior without going overboard and being self-righteous, but really standing for what is actually right, which means we always have to be on the learning edge with that too. So Tanya, would you share with us also, there's the shadow side of all the archetypes, which is equally as potent, because there's a lot of our light that is still stuck in the shadow, which is not wrong. It's not bad. We just need to go love that part of ourselves up. But with the Honorable Warrior, we've got the rescuer, also being narcissistic, can be volatile and self-neglecting. Where did you find yourself when you were just working the hammer and the nail so much? Where did you find yourself in the shadow of the Honorable Warrior, and what really helped you to step back into the light? Because I teach you that in so many different ways.
Yes. It's such a great question. If you hadn't asked me, I would have had to say, look, honestly, we need to talk about the shadow of the Honorable Warrior. I've been the Honorable Warrior for so long. The strengths, the skills, the protection, the standing up, the rallying, that the instinctive, I'm going to put you behind me, this is going to work, I got you, is second nature. But the part that just has messed up my life the most is the rescuer. The narcissistic one, maybe it's narcissistic to say I don't have that. I don't have that one. I've got the rescuer, and I own that one. Like I built her a room. She should have a shirt. We're very close. I discovered, through my work on the archetype and through my coaching that there's such a strong thread in me that wanted to protect others in a way to barter love for myself. And so I would go into situations, and, even recently I have to watch myself. I'd get a new client, and then if I don't watch it, like if I'm not really like conscious of what I'm doing, the little bit of rescuing will sneak back in there. And that's how it connects to my self-neglect, because I will put other people ahead of myself while I'm busy rescuing them, which spiritually does not work out for them, and it's not loving for me. And the first step for me, the biggest step was to just notice how rampant that was in my life.
Yeah, it's such a big one to even notice what it is that we're doing that's not working for us. So when have part of ourselves in the shadow, and we all do, we all have parts of ourselves in the shadow. I catch myself in the shadow, and we have to love these parts up. First of all, awareness precedes change, but we have to be aware that we're even standing in the shadow, and that it's like, think of it as like love, fear is love moving in the wrong direction. Well, your shadow is just light moving in the wrong direction. Mm-hmm. And we want to bring those gifts back into the light, which takes patience and love and awareness, and releasing, patterns from the past that have helped you to get there. But also
what helped me.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, go ahead.
No, keep going.
What helped me to step out of the rescuing was, literally, obviously I'm super analytical. So I could just go back and pull the data. I could go, well, let's see if this has worked for me. No. I was like, okay, you know what? This is not working. We clearly need to do something different. So when I would catch myself going into my shadow of rescuing, I would remind myself that I wasn't seeing the God in that person. Because why is it that I thought, okay, here's the narcissistic part. Why is it that I thought that they needed Tanya to rescue them? Otherwise they would fail. Otherwise they wouldn't make it. And so when I could get myself to that idea of, actually, for me to step back and let them figure this out more is actually more loving. And that is actually more protective of them in a positive way than the way I was being before. And that helped me.
Absolutely. And sometimes I know with some of the other shadows, we think that we are doing, from that viewpoint, that part of us thinks we're doing so much good. And that's why it's important to not push our shadows away, but kind of go over there and curl up on that rock and sit there with that part of yourself and actually look at life, or look at your life and what's going on. Like Tanya was saying, it's working, it's not working, through that viewpoint. But I'm a firm believer of everybody's welcome at the party, including our shadow. And that is the only way we release the shadow into the light. I would love for you to share with us, where you are today. You're very successful, and where you are today, and not just successful in the terms of like monetary success or how many clients or your business or any of that. But remember, Tanya knows this, but when I'm saying success, I really mean you know, it's like, I mean, wealth, it's fulfillment. It's, you know, your joy, what's most important to you. So where, you know, what is your success today that really you could say is based on specifically around the shift you've made with this particular archetype or whatever other ones you want to talk about?
Okay, this is a big one because and you may not know me, but I was a practicing lawyer. I had my own law firm. So I've been a lawyer for 20 years. I was making multiple six figures. I had the $500,000 house and I was married and I was unhappy. Like I was like, it's like I woke up one morning. It's like somebody played the film of my life and I was like, oh, I don't want to watch this film. I was like, wait a second. Why do we want, oh my God, we don't actually like our life. And I realized the only person who could fix it was me. And I just somehow made all these bad choices. I don't know how. They weren't bad, like technically bad, but it's like I didn't feel good. I didn't feel alive. I was carrying extra weight. I wasn't in a good relationship. Nothing, everything looked fine from the outside, but on the inside, which you learn when you work with Prema, oh my gosh, you know, you in the beginning, you constantly hear her saying something about your heart, something about your heart. And when you're not fully connected, you're like, gosh, why does she keep saying that? And then after a while, you're like, oh, I know why she keeps saying that. Because now that I'm heart connected, now that my heart makes my decisions, my intuition, and I'm heart led instead of head led, I'm happy. It's like I didn't even need to get back to all of that money to have the joy that I've never had in my life. And when I look at my archetype now, it's like I want to apologize to my honorable warrior. I want to say I'm sorry that I made you carry so much of our life weight. And now that it's distributed, so now that I've got the leader and I've got the administrator, and those guys are backed up by my communicator and by my connector. In fact, I don't know if you can see this. This is a little ornament that I had made, and it has all the names on it. All of my archetypes have names. So they have all their names on there, and in the middle it says, together we make a family. That's my family. I think of them as family now. So my life is so rich now that abundance comes to me because it is more of what I am on the inside. It really is that, you know, they say happiness isn't the way to happiness. Happiness is the way. Like all those cliches are finally making sense to me. And I'm so grateful for Prema for helping me, because she really modeled a beautiful union between a masculine and a feminine and a woman. Because if you're like me and you're a masculine centric woman, you don't like women initially that are very soft. You're just like, oh, you're soft. I can't, I want to just hurt you or something. And I had to evolve. Like I didn't even like women. I'll say it out loud. It's like step up to the plate. Hi, my name is Tanya, and I did not used to like women. I thought you were all soft. Sorry. And what I realized is, oh, Tanya was just hard. I didn't know. And I learned. I was in with her groups and I was in with Prema, and I learned to love the women around me, even though they were different from me, even though they didn't have my strengths. And in learning to love their different strengths, this is shocking, I discovered that I actually had the strengths that I was looking at. Like I didn't know they were there because I'd given them so little credence and so little love that it's like I hid them from myself. And the minute I started loving them in somebody around me, I looked in there and I'm like, oh my gosh, we got the honorable warrior, we got the administrator, we got the leader, and then we have all this beautiful feminine. And so that's what's unlocked for me. And that has just changed everything in my life. I can manifest. I don't get stressed. I don't attract. I just don't attract crazy anymore. Like I just used to attract crazy. Like I'm not kidding. In boys, in money, in clients, employees, I promise you, I was the person who could go through a drive-through and they would like close it for 10 minutes. Like that was me. And I'd have to fight. I'd pull my honorable warrior out and we'd fight, you know, and now my whole platform in life is success without struggle. And I'm so grateful to you, Prema. I'm so grateful because I could not have gotten to where I am, and I couldn't lead other women in full integrity without knowing that, you know what, I'm on a good path, and I am more balanced than I've ever been. So thank you.
Oh, well, and thank you. It's you know, it's an honor to have yourself and some of the other amazing beings I'm so blessed with in my life entrust the parts of yourself that you're wanting to get to know, and trust me as a guide there. And so, yeah, so thank you. I love you dearly, and I really appreciate you. And I appreciate getting to have your brilliance continue to collaborate with me too, and bless my peeps as well. So we're lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Okay, so you've got a full dose of Tanya and the alpha life today. And she's living the alpha life out of a place of balance instead of, and teaching it out of a place of balance instead of out of the hammer. And so I love what you said. I just want to touch on this one point before we close. You don't attract crazy anymore. And when your shadow's running the show, you attract crazy. It's just, we all do when the shadow's running the show. We are, and it's there to help us to hopefully see it, you know, and it makes us really uncomfortable. But isn't it great to know that there's just so much more available, and you made such a big change in your life, and it made such big changes. And I know you watching it have made such big changes, or you're on the precipice of being ready to, or the divine has handed you a big change and you haven't seen it as a blessing yet, that, you know that you can always shift and change as you're called to. It's not like, oh, can I, or do I have to only just, you know, do it the hard way? No, you know, you have so much support, guidance, and help available to you. Tanya knows that, and you all know that. So Tanya, before we sign off for today, is there anything else you want to leave everyone with?
Yes, I would tell anyone who's watching this, if you're drawn to this because you have an honorable warrior or you're curious about it, I want you to know that she is best when she has support. And I went after I just got goosebumps on that. Thanks. I went after my honorable warrior from a lone wolf perspective. And that made us so much weaker. The strongest version of your honorable warrior is going to be, it's almost like an athlete where you do your full performance and then you can rest, which means you're going to need other team members around her to take the helm. So you can depend on her. If you're hurt, if you're crushed, if you're threatened, if something else is going wrong, please pull her out. And then if you're a softer woman, pull her out when you need a little bit more spine in your back. You know, she is absolutely there for you. Let her support you. And if you're a lone wolf, make sure she's supported.
Awesome. Thank you for that. That's such an incredibly useful point, because look, there's so much more help for all of us than we are available to us than we actually are willing to be open to. Mm-hmm. And even that strong part of us needs support. Our leaders need support. Our honorable warriors need support. And in that, then that part of us can focus on, oh, just, you know what, it's just so good at, instead of having to hold down the whole fort, you know, which gets to be a little much. So if you haven't grabbed your deck yet, your deck of Oracle cards, or if you're wanting I encourage you to do so, first of all, because they're just all so yummy and rich. And we'll be bringing you some more fun stories, because really, I know that you are going to walk away from something that Tanya said today, and it's going to shift your whole life. And that's what we're here for. And if you're wondering what your wealth code is, you know, grab a reading or grab the book and work your way through the book, where you'll get your purpose and your wealth dream and all that. And if you feel like, you know, hey, this is a community for me, I really want to be with the people that you're talking about and be with you guys, then come on over and join us in Sacred Wealth Circle or the Business Academy. So you can check that all out. Right here, if you're watching this on the blog, you can check it all out. If you're on YouTube, it's down below. And if you're on Facebook, it's down below too. Okay, so much love to all of you, and we'll see you soon.